Tom had been working the night shift at the cheap motel on the edge of town for over 2 years. The hours were long and lonely, with only the occasional guest checking in or out. Most nights passed uneventfully, but tonight felt different. Outside, a heavy storm brewed, casting an unsettling shadow over the dimly lit lobby. As the clock struck midnight, the wind howled, rattling the windows. Tom glanced at the security monitor, catching a glimpse of the rain-soaked parking lot. His unease deepened when he noticed a car pull in, a beat-up sedan with a flickering headlight. The driver, a man in a dark hoodie, stepped out and moved toward the entrance. The hanging bell on the door chimed softly as the man walked into the run-down lobby, his clothes speckled with rain. "Welcome to the Maple Leaf Inn. Do you need a room?" Tom called out, trying to mask his apprehension. The man didn't respond, his face obscured by the hood. Instead, he walked straight to the reception desk, leaning on it as if he were tired. "Just a room for the night," the man said, his voice low and gravelly. Tom noticed a slight tremor in his hands, but he dismissed it, focusing on the check-in process. "Sure, I just need your ID and a credit card," Tom replied, trying to maintain a professional demeanor. The man hesitated, his eyes darting around the lobby as if he were sizing up his surroundings. Finally, he produced an ID, placing it on the counter. Tom glanced at it, but the man's name was obscured by a smear of dirt. "I'll just need to take a copy," he said, feeling a sense of unease creeping in. As he reached for the copy machine in the back of the lobby, he noticed the man's gaze fixated on the door, his body tense. "Everything okay?" Tom asked, trying to break the tension. "Yeah, I'm just waiting for someone," the man replied, avoiding eye contact. Tom shrugged it off and made the copy, but as he returned, the man was gone. The lobby was empty, a chill running down Tom's spine. He glanced at the security monitor, but the camera showed nothing. No sign of the man. Just then, the lights flickered, and the storm outside intensified, thunder rumbling ominously. He felt a surge of anxiety. "Hello? Is anyone there?" Tom called out, but only silence answered him. Just as he began to doubt himself, he heard a soft thud from the direction of the stairs. Tom's heart raced as he cautiously approached, peering into the dimly lit hallway. "Hello?" he called again, but there was no response. The air felt charged with tension, and a strange smell wafted through the corridor. Something metallic? Suddenly, he heard footsteps above him, slow and deliberate. He glanced back at the front desk, debating whether he should call the police. Just then, the man from earlier appeared at the top of the stairs, a wild look in his eyes and a blood-stained shirt. "Help me!" he shouted, scrambling down the stairs. Tom froze, confusion and fear battling within him. "I didn't mean to—" The man was cut off as he stumbled, falling to the floor. Tom rushed to his side, but before he could reach him, the man grabbed his arm. "You have to hide. He's coming." Panic flooded Tom's mind. "Who's coming?" But before the man could answer, a figure emerged from the shadows at the top of the stairs. A tall man, his face obscured by a dark cap. He stepped forward, a glint of metal shining in his hand. "You shouldn't have gotten involved," he said, his voice menacing. Tom's instincts kicked in, and he yanked his arm free, backing away. The man on the floor gasped. "Run! Get out of here!" With adrenaline coursing through him, Tom sprinted toward the lobby, but the murderer lunged forward, blocking his path. "You think you can escape?" the man hissed, raising the knife threateningly. In a split second, Tom spotted a fire extinguisher mounted on the wall. Without thinking, he grabbed it, aiming it at the attacker. "Stay back!" he shouted, feeling a surge of desperation. The murderer hesitated for just a moment, giving Tom the opening he needed. He pulled the pin and blasted the extinguisher, a cloud of foam exploding into the air. The man shouted, momentarily blinded, and Tom darted past him, sprinting out the front door and into the storm. The rain pelted down, soaking him instantly, but he didn't look back. He ran toward the parking lot, heart pounding, desperate to reach his car. Just as he reached it, he heard a voice behind him. "Tom!" It was the man from earlier, bloodied and disheveled, stumbling out of the hotel. "We need to get out of here." "Who is that guy?" Tom shouted, fumbling for his keys. "He's the one who's been killing people. He's after me," the man gasped, glancing anxiously back at the hotel entrance. Without another word, Tom jumped into the car, starting the engine as the man squeezed into the passenger seat. "Go, go," he urged, his voice frantic. Tom slammed the gas pedal, tearing out of the parking lot and onto the rain-slicked road. The storm raged, and the darkness enveloped them as they sped away from the hotel. "We have to call the police," Tom shouted, his hands trembling on the steering wheel. The man nodded, panting heavily. "He's not going to let us go that easily. He'll come after us." As they drove into the night, Tom couldn't shake the feeling of dread. They had escaped, but the murderer was still out there, lurking in the shadows. The cheap hotel, once a place of solitude, had become a nightmare, and Tom knew that as long as that man was free, the darkness would always be waiting,